Hello everybody, it's Lawrence from Unicorn Reviews, and today we will be taking a look at Spa-Francorchamps and we will be doing a track guide. So first off, I will be free camming around the track, telling you guys about the track, showing you guys what lines you want to take, and then after that I'm gonna drive a Radical R4 around it and obviously try to get the lap record, because I mean, if I can't do that, then who am I to tell you what to do on this track? So you can already see my Radical there. Anyway, pole position is on the right hand side, even though the first corner is actually a left-handed corner. It's a pretty short run up to Eau Rouge, which is our first corner here. However, when you come from all the way back at La Source, it's pretty long. So anyway, here's where you want to be when you're doing on your starting lap, and here's where you want to be on hot laps or during the race really. So what you do is you come from all the way over to the right, almost in the wall, at least with a mirror or something, and then you try and hit the curb here and align yourself somewhat with this white line here, and then once you're here you just cut back to the right, grab a tiny bit of curb here. The curb isn't too good actually, it's a seesaw curb. You can also then take this curb here on the left and curb on the right. Also, if you go really wide, there is a master turf here, so that's all pretty neat. Then what you do is you go over a bit to the left to straighten out this somewhat little bit of a corner here, so you try to straighten that out. And then from there on it's a rather long straight, and it is perfectly straight all the way up the hill. Top speeds will be slightly lower than you would expect, because you're at altitude, somewhat a little bit of altitude. It's Belgium, so it's still pretty flat, but it's just uphill, pretty long straight. Nothing to tell about this really. Just want to cross it diagonally, so you exit the kink and then you cross it diagonally to make the distance as short as you possibly can. Also to annoy people trying to overtake, because you are sticking to your line but you are going from one side of the track to the other. Anyway, you want to be pretty much to the right here, but also very careful that you're not on the curbs. They are flat curbs, so if you hit them it's not too big of a deal. But also the line you take through this corner, it's not very important. You can either go wide or you can go narrow. It doesn't really matter, because the more important part is the left-handed part of the chicane. So I'm gonna zoom out here. You want to not go on the right-handed curbs. You want to be all the way over to the left when you turn in, because there is a bit of a straight, quite a long straight. It's downhill, so exit speed will be pretty important. So you just exit as quickly as you can there. Grab a bit of inside curb, not too much, just use most curb on the outside. Try not to hit the gravel here. You can use a little bit of concrete mesh, I guess. It's some sort of a mesh, isn't it? Then you just stay all the way to the left, maybe go a tiny bit to the right, so you're sure you're not ending up in the grass. And here you brake a tiny bit earlier than you would normally do, because if the deeper you go into the corner, the more off camera it gets, and the steeper the downhill thing gets. So if you miss it, you'll never get your apex back. You'll just lose a couple of seconds in one corner alone. So you want to be making sure you're heading already towards the corner under braking, and then you just hug the corner all the way through until you are about here, which is, you know, when you'll be able to just floor it. What you want to do is you want to floor it immediately and hope you're not going to have oversteer. But if you go on the throttle gently, you'll create an awful lot of understeer. You want to have the car slide around a little bit. And then you go all the way back to the right. Use the curb here to straighten out this entire corner. Unless if you're in a car and you have to brake for that corner, then you don't want to be on the curbs, of course. Then some more downhill run up to Pouan. We're pretty high in the sky here, enjoying the view. It's pretty cool at night when you can see lights in the pit lane and everything. Anyway, about right here is where you want to be. Yeah, a bit more over here to the right. Use the curb on the outside to just widen the track. Get some curb here, almost hit the grass, just not quite hit the grass because you will spin out, and then the marshals, which aren't here yet, will have to do work, and since they're not there yet, you'll just have to press the reset button. It's also pretty flat curb here, no seesaw curb, so it's pretty forgiving. Same for the curb on the outside, plenty of runoff should you screw up. Then this curb, you approach it but you don't use it, so you stay on the white line, but to the right of the white line. Then you can use this curb as well, but with most cars you'll have plenty of grip to not have to use it. So now we're approaching Piff Puff, so the first section would be Piff. Again, Piff, whatever you do, you'll probably do right, but you want to start, you'll probably have to decelerate on this piece here, so that's when you turn left. You hug it for a bit, so it's not like you really take an apex, you just hug the entire corner. And then you use all the runoff you can, but stay on the AstroTurf, don't touch the gravel because you will spin off and everything will be ruined. This is a rather important corner. It's followed up by a giant straight, so exit speed is everything here. So whatever you have to do with your car, I mean obviously I can't say what line you have to take because every car is different, but in my case, full on the apex, use all the curb I can get and just get on the throttle as early as possible. Get this apex about here. It's a bit of a concave thing, so if you get a wheel on the curb, it'll just create even more grip. So grip is everything, straightening out the track is everything, because obviously what you want to do is straighten it out but keep it as short as possible, right? And whoever does the best job at that is gonna have the fastest time. It's like that. So here you just stay in the middle of the road, really just make it a bit straighter, get as much speed. So I'm gonna start asking you guys to subscribe to the channel, like the video, maybe dislike it if you really don't like this video. I don't see why you would dislike this video. If you got any questions, comments, feedback, that's what the comment section is for, of course. And we're now approaching Blanchimont in a bit. Yeah, free cam isn't really fast. So it's a pretty well cambered corner. Now you just go from all the way over to the right, all the way over to the left, back to the right, like you would take any left-handed corner really. It's a fast corner. It will take some getting used to on how fast you can get through. Some cars will have a bit of oversteer through it. Others will have a bit of understeer through it. Not much I can say unless we would be doing car specific things. Anyway, bus stop chicane. Old bus stop chicane was right here, and then you would go left, and then you would go right, left again. So left, right, right, left. It's no longer a bus stop chicane, it's just a chicane, but it kept the name, which all rhymes, so it's great. It's pretty well cambered, both sections, which means that in the middle of it, you're gonna have a bit of a ramp, really, and your car will jump a bit. And because you're on low speeds, there's not a lot of downforce to counteract the upward forces. So oversteer is, well, it's just gonna happen. You'll have to live with it. You will have oversteer on the transition from right to left. The curbs themselves are pretty seesawy curbs, so you don't want to use them too much, especially since you've just been sliding and you're full on the throttle, so don't use the curb too much. You can, however, use all the curb and AstroTurf right here on the right of the track, because that's just a perfectly flat curb. Plenty of runoff. That's the brasserie there. Great place for viewing the race, because most people will be in the grandstands, but you can actually take an elevator up there to the second floor. That's where you want to be. So anyway, approaching La Source hairpin. Braking will be about here. So that will be pretty hard braking, slightly downhill. And then you turn in as late as you can. And then right here you're going to be putting the throttle on again. Try not to hit the wall. Use the curb, it's there for a reason. And then as you can see, that's when it's going to go really downhill. It doesn't really look so good on camera and in video games, but trust me, the physics are there in most games. And you can just see it from the parking spots, which are horizontal. Just the drop off is giant. I think it's about 6 or 7% hill. So in degrees that would be, oh my god, I'm gonna say something stupid, but that would be a 10 degree climb, really. So that was it for our walk around the track, or free cam around the track. We are now going to get into the little reticle and get the lap record, because everybody loves lap records. Alright then guys, we're about to do our final lap. I can already confirm that we were over a second faster, in the second fastest lap ever done around Spa-Francorchamps in a reticle SR4. Time will start on the old pit lane straight. So braking here is pretty crucial, just trying to barely not touch the wall really. Just full speed into 5th gear here. Getting really close to the wall there. Into a rouge. It doesn't really, the camera standpoints aren't good, but we're gonna go on board later on. So as you can see here, I'm actually going a bit to the left so that I can straighten out the entire straight. Well, I'll cross it diagonally because obviously that's shorter. Taking plenty of curve here. And plenty of curve over there as well, of course. I like curves, so I often take a lot of them. Nicely hugging the corner there. Maybe going a bit wider than you should. But no, they shouldn't have made runoff areas there anyway. Back in the old days it was just gravel, and that was pretty much enough motivation to keep you on track. But now it's all asphalt, so. Anyway, pretty much aced that apex, and I did that one as well. Again, running almost into the gravel there, car sliding everywhere. Kinda missed that apex, but it's not really big of a deal really. I mean, I got proper exit speed. And so now we're on our way to the bus stop chicane. Very late braking. Getting the apexes both right. And then now up to the final corner, a source. I may have outbraked myself a little bit there. But you know, mistakes are, well, they happen, you know. And across the line. So now let's take a look at onboard footage. First, again, approaching bus stop chicane. You can just hear the tires barely holding on under extreme braking. What I tend to do is, for bus stop, I put my brake balance one click further forward, following like 52% front brake on this car. But for most of the track I run it at 51, so that the car doesn't wash away after braking when I steer in. It was taking plenty of curve there. Maybe a bit too much curve there, but it didn't invalidate my lap, so I guess I was right on the limit of what you can do. And right here is just a long boring straight. I'm running into the gear limiter here. I can actually do 227 kilometers an hour, and I max out at 226 here. So I got the gear ratios pretty right. For racing, I would recommend a slightly longer gear ratio, so that you can, well, slipstream and overtake people. You can also see that on entry into Liège, there was a bit of, the tail got a bit away from me, but that's nothing too bad. Over here, just getting perfect line, running a tiny bit wide on exit, but again, within reasonable limits. I mean, that is how you take track records, of course. Just using every single bit of space you have. And so here you could see I locked up the left front wheel and the car wouldn't turn in. So I missed my apex. That's probably 0.2 of a second I missed it. Well, this isn't my final qualifying lap yet, so because I am participating in the WSPSC, which is the weekly Small Prototypes Semi-Endurance Championship. Pretty long name for saying cheap prototypes, 1 hour races. There's 7 of them. If you're fast enough and you go onto the Project Cars website forums thingy, I think you can still be in. It's pretty fun racing as well. So, back to La Source. As I said earlier on, I kind of missed the apex here. That was at least half a meter of just that I left. So I should have been a bit tighter. That was pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching.